Drivers from the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series head themselves to the mountain, to Bathurst, Mount Panorama for round number 7 of another championship. This is UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies in support of Shelter here on RaceSpot TV. We're about 5 minutes away from the green flag. Our coverage will start after this message. Cars are lined up on the grid. The RaceSpot World Championship Grand Prix Series. We are underway. They all come down into turn 1 for the first time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series. Welcome to the UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippy Championship in support of Shelter here on RaceSpot TV as we get ourselves ready for another evening's worth of entertainment, high speed and close packed racing. It's a close course qualifying here today. Most of the drivers have about completed themselves their qualifying laps. Got a couple of people still scored on the racetrack right now. Just keeping an eye out to see who is on a lap, who is off of a lap. Well, most people are done. They're either on a cool down lap or they have already brought their car to the end of a lap to complete their qualifying. We will have a quick look then on board with the driver here of Mark O'Connell. He runs himself in P number 17 in qualifying for the time being. Well, qualifying just got about a minute left to go. I'm actually having a look at the exact time. Mark O'Connell should about get himself to the start-finish line in time. Wilmington here along with Rachel Whiteford on RaceSpot TV. Want more to about us? Head over to facebook.com/RaceSpot TV for all the latest broadcast news and information. And if you missed anything, either the World Championship Grand Prix Series, the RaceSpot.com 24 hours at Spa or Sunday Night Skippys, check it out on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Well, Mark O'Connell then heads himself out of the final corner. Close course qualifying, Rachel. 2 reasons. Because this track is oh so long, and also because of the fact that we have ourselves 3, maybe 4 very good drafting straights, which really makes qualifying difficult for some drivers.
Yeah, good evening. Well, it certainly makes things rather difficult here at Bathurst. Mount Panorama is one of those tracks that can really make things complicated in qualifying. So solo qualifying does clarify a lot of things for drivers. It does stop the team drafting, and it also means that we see a genuine pace of the drivers rather than a fast driver coming up on slower cars in mountain and compromising their laps. So we see a real representation with solo qualifying of drivers' ability on a very technical track.
Yep, there's a look then. Qualifying is pretty much over right about now. That gives us the opportunity in just a second's time to head ourselves down to the starting grid for tonight's event. David Williams, pole position, 2 minutes 30.150. Mark Mercer will line up alongside him on the front row of the grid with Friction Racing's Tom Ward in 3rd, and then David Grunhill rounding out your front 2 rows of the grid. Clark Williams in 5th, Bill Fraser in 6th, Mark Turner in 7th, and then Mark O'Connor in the 8th position. We've got ourselves 6 drivers separated by less than 1 second on the starting grid. We expect it to be a bit more of a spread out grid here, A, because of the close qualifying, and also B, because of the fact that this track is that long. Adrian Bidwell in 9th. He is 1.9 seconds off the pace, and Michael Watson in 10th, 2 seconds off your pole position driver of Williams, Mike Hannon, Simon Maltby, Rich Jones, Robert Plumley, Patrick Fairbanks, Tim Adcock, Paul Folkestone, Darrell Bennett, Anna Patterson, and Ellis Stevens running out your top 20. We had ourselves, well, a grand total of 24 drivers set themselves a qualifying time of sorts. It's a smaller grid than what we're used to. Some drivers will be happy about that though, because of the fact that A, they get themselves some more points, but also B, the fact that it means that there'll be less trouble heading themselves up through the mountain. Well, drivers are just about to complete their gridding process here. And let's have a look at your weather here today. Well, it is variable track conditions, so that means that these drivers are going to have to deal with things over the course of this event. We get ourselves a very, very, very quick look there on board with your pole position driver. It's David Williams. He'll be bringing the field to the green flag here on RaceSpot TV. And there is a look up above. Our aerial coverage here today is brought to you by And One Design, official graphics partner of RaceSpot TV. And this series is to raise awareness and money for Shelter, the official charity of RaceSpot TV, and where I might well actually be running a London Marathon in just about 9 months' time. Getting set for the green flag here on RaceSpot as 10 laps of Bathurst is underway right about now. And it's a bit of a slow start there by Williams. The number 33 car gets himself a better run down in towards turn 1. They come for the first time where they're going to be single file for your top 2 positions. But behind them, oh, they're scrapping it as they work themselves through turn 1, hell corner for the first time. Now they work themselves down the first of 3 big straightaways. This is Mountain Straight. They work themselves up the hill. There's a little bit of a dip before they come down into Quarry Corner. And Rachel, this is where you get yourself drafting for the first time.
It is. This mountain straightaway is very long and a big dip here, which can actually cause the cars to get a little unsettled. But a big checkup earlier on in the coming out of Hell Corner. Well, aptly named, and I believe that was the car there of Povey, and well, Povey's on pit road already. That's pretty dramatic. Yeah, we're trying to try and figure out what happened there to Simon Povey. So we'll figure out what happened to him at the start of this event. I don't actually know. Already, Will. He actually pit road started, pulled out, then decided to not. Oh, so there's no need for replay of that one at all. Simon Povey is out of the race already. David Williams leading from Mark Mercer. About 7 times for a second gap right now between Mercer and Tom Ward. We have ourselves a look back from the rear of Mark Mercer. This is the conclusion of the hill. We're going to stay on board with Mark Mercer for the time being, because this is a wonderful sight, Rachel. That run down the mountain from Skyline through the S's, turn number 11 through to turn number 17. It is. This is one of the most famous sectors of Bathurst and a joy to drive in a race car. So coming down this one through the Big Dipper, this is incredible. The car almost turns itself through this corner with the camber. So really fun part of the racetrack, especially down here to final corner before we actually come through the Forest Elbow. It is actually, in fact, an amazing corner as well. Right down now into Conrad Straight, and away we go. Yep, so this is where you get yourself a drafting. We work ourselves along board with Tom Ward. He was in the mix yesterday on Sunday Night Skippies. He was actually in this place with 2 laps to go. He's going to try and draft himself around Mark Mercer. Down they come into the chase. And let's get that speed chart up and let's show you the speeds these guys going. 203 kilometers an hour, getting off the gas there because he's running himself side by side. He will slot himself into the 2nd position as we're about to conclude our first lap of 10. For those of you who didn't see Sunday Night Skippies, it's this corner here, the chase that caused all the incidents yesterday. Turn number 20 through 22 on the racetrack as we get ourselves a look then on our aerial coverage down to complete lap number 1. It's Williams from Ward, from Mercer, Grunhill in 4th, and then Bill Fraser, Rachel, rounds out your top 5. He does indeed. Behind him, Clark Williams, Mark Turner with a good run here today. P8 is Mark O'Connell, Adrian Bidwell in P9, Michael Watson up into P10. That's a great position for him in the, I believe, newly formed SRM racing team. Himself with his teammate Simon Maltby, who's sitting back in, behind him actually, is in P number 11, Will. Yeah, just behind them, you've got Mike Cannon versus Robert Plumley as they work themselves up mountain straightaway once again. Lap number 2, we've actually got a change for the race lead. Tom Ward will move himself down to the inside path. David Williams and Mark Mercer still sitting in the 3rd position, but he's now going to look himself to the outside as they work themselves down
in towards the cutting, turn number 3 and 4. Australia likes to sponsor these corners, but I'm sorry, Castrol, we're not going to give you any airtime here today. Now, through turn number 3, then into 4. Now they're going to work themselves up the mountain. Mercer, at this point, Rachel, just basically has to stay in line for the time being. Next time he's got a chance to really make a move will be the exit of turn number 19, Forest Elbow.
He does, and well, we have some bad blood from last time out at Suzuka, Will. We know that Mercer's not too happy with Williams, and Ward and Williams also have their own little beef, so the main thing's really interesting with these three really running away from the pack. They're about a second clear of P4, Dave Grunnell. He's got Bill Fraser in tow, but yeah, these three have already had moments as we see a big wobble there from Tom Ward, I apologise, and Williams had a chance to catch up, but he missed it, and that's brought the banks of Grunnell, Fraser and Williams right into the back of them.
Well, yesterday on Sunday Night Skippies, of course, we had ourselves a moment with Tom Ward, and this is the reason why we ended up with the clash between Vinicius Rocha and Tom Ward's teammate, Richard Avery, on the final lap of the race. It was because Tom Ward, in P number 2, had himself an incident and just got himself a little bit too loose on the run down the mountain. But here we can see Mercer down to the inside it will be by the time they come down into the chase. Mercer up into second. Not much you can do right now. Bill Fraser in P number 5 is there in the mix. We're looking ourselves on board of him. Into turn number 21 they come. And, well, it looks like your top 5 drivers are once again separated by just a shade over 1 second. This is why we said earlier, Rachel, don't worry about qualifying too much. This is one track where track position is not necessarily the end of your race. It's Mark O'Connell and Adrian Bidwell go side by side with Michael Watson right behind them.
It is, and Michael Watson sitting currently down there in
P10.
I've lost it completely. Yeah, P number 10. He's got that car ahead of him, Adrian O'Connell, Bidwell in front of them. So Bidwell's changed his colours once. He's not running that Marlboro car he's been running for absolutely months. He's in that AM racing machine, looking fantastic there actually. And yeah, it's pretty exciting all through the field here, Will. We've got good fighting down here for the bottom end of the top 10 as we see there Mark O'Connell making a move and will be followed through by Watson. So 3 wide, boys, don't take it 3 wide too soon, but great run up now in towards turn 2, and this is always a fun corner. You've got to really get that braking done and power out because it's such a steep run out this corner, so really need to get that power down at the right moment as we come up here to one where it's real bravery. You can keep it flat through here, but it can be a little bit daunting.
Mark Mercer's moving himself past Tom Ward for the time being. Don't worry about who's leading this race until we get to lap 10. That's my advice to you. If we're going to get ourselves lead changes, we had them on Sunday Night Skippies. We're going to have it again here on Monday Night Skippies. There is a look on board of David Grunhill. He's in P4. The first half of your race, all you need to do is get yourself set up, get yourself ready, get yourself in position. After that, then it's getting yourself ready for the final lap of the race, and it will all kick off. One thing we noticed, Rachel, on Sunday Night Skippies is that you don't even have to be in second place. You can be leading coming out of Forest Elbow. The reason why is because Conrad is so long that you've got yourself the opportunity to get past and then repass coming down into the chase.
You do, of course. Anyone that gets in front of you will be on a pretty compromised line as you can choose yours. So you can force them into a narrower line for the chase, which means you get the better run. So you can get them back again. But right now we've just seen already Martin Mercer came from P3 up to P number 1 as Tom Ward goes past him as well. And probably see an example of this now as Ward will have that, he'll be pulling across now in front of Mercer to try and get himself the optimal line. But Mercer now really has the choice to put up the inside if he wants to, but this early on, not really worth the risk, but he hasn't lost a lot. Tom Ward has got past, yes, but as we've seen in the last couple of laps, well, this lead has changed 3 or 4 times. It's not hard to pass here, so it's never really a permanent position, and we've seen the opportunity there that Mercer could have put it past him twice at least.
Yep, as a look at your top 3 as they work themselves now out the final corner once again behind. We've got yourself now the AM Racing car. We talked about him already. We've got ourselves Mark O'Connell, Adrian Bidwell going side by side for the final corner. O'Connell will win that battle, but Michael Watson is right there in the mix as well. Don't discount that driver in the number 666 car heading themselves down in towards Hell Corner, that 90-degree left-hander again. And let's just show you the straight line speed of these drivers. They head themselves up the mountain. You can see that them on the back straightaway they got up to about 210 kilometers an hour. Here on the first straightaway, really, your mountain straight, you get yourself a little bit less speed, but once you go up the dip, You're up to 190 kilometers an hour as we've got Bidwell looking down to the inside of Mark O'Connell, down in towards Quarry Corner, turn number 2. While positions keep on changing here, Rachel, of course, we've got ourselves Mercer versus Ward going on. Williams there in third. If you're Williams, you're playing the waiting game. You're not doing anything right now. You don't want to show your hand. We saw yesterday on Sunday Night Skippies that people were showing their hand a little bit too early.
Yeah, that's true. We've got 10 laps here, so on lap 4 we have 6 to go. And it's really not a time to give anybody anything. This is close at the front. We've got at least 5 cars that could be in with a shout here. And any number of cars behind them who could be in with a shout if this lot make a mistake, because one problem here at Big Dipper and down the from Skyline, that could kill 3, 4, 5 cars. So the being this close together, that could be a bad thing. But out now, of course, Mercer's out in front, and well, that changed going up Mountain Straightaway. Will exactly the same as it changes back down Conrad. As contact there, Grunnell and Fraser. He is round, I believe.
Yeah, let's get ourselves a look at that one there. It's David Grunhill. He looks as though he could well be out of the race. Let's get ourselves... No, he's not. He's moving again. He's moving again, but that car is well off the racing line. He's going to have to find a way of gaining speed. He's going to be falling all the way down outside of your top 10 by the looks of it. Replay is up on your screen as we get ourselves a look then what happened to the 0-2 car of David Grunhill. And we talk about how you've got to be so careful when you head down the mountain. That is what happened down at the Dipper. So we ride ourselves along board. This is actually back down at turn number 10. They follow me park now before you head yourself down into Skyline. The right hand flick at 11, heading yourself down the S, as you can see how close it all was at this point. And well, it's all it takes is one driver to just step out a little bit, and then from there you get yourself a chain reaction. David Grunhill, unfortunately, is now all the way down in the 15th position, has headed himself on towards pit road. Patrick Fairbanks have had an issue, and there we are, Rachel. Contact with number 11 car of Bill Fraser, turning Grunhill around. Bill Fraser carries on, but David Grunhill has just made himself a journey on towards pit road. Patrick Fairbanks has just had himself a bit of an issue as well. Yeah,
definitely Fraser has some nose damage on that one too, and well, Grunhill pushed wide in Forest Elbow and he'd really lost that corner. Bill Fraser went for a gap that was, to be fair, quite wide, and it got closed by Grunhill, so personal opinion, probably shouldn't have closed the door as much as he did, but well, they both paid for it, which is unfortunate, but there you go, and it's allowed this front 3 to really break away. They're 6 seconds clear now of Bill Fraser in P number 4. What a huge gap. He's got no front wing, no tip on his nose cone, so I suspect cars behind him will be catching him up pretty soon, as Mark Turner's now closing in the other AM racing machine towards the back of Bill Fraser, so it could be a change for P4. Well, there will be very soon.
Well, yeah, the gap is about 1 second as it stands. Last lap by him. So 235.616 for Bill Fraser, 233.172 for Turner. Of course, Fraser had the issue down at the Dipper to contend with on that last lap, although this lap alone, Mark Turner's taken a couple of attempts per second out of that battle for P number 4. We showed you what happened to Patrick Fairbanks, Rachel, just outbreaking himself down the chase. Come the last lap, you're going to have to be careful in this three-way battle between Mercer, Williams and Tom Ward. A lot of people didn't really necessarily see Sunday Night Skippies, but that is what happened with Vinicius Rocha and Richard Avery. It was outbreaking and running the curbs down at the chase. Now you can get 2 wheels onto the curb, that's okay, but naturally going to push across the racetrack a little bit. So just have ourselves a look on board with Ward, and that's 2 wheels on the grass, 3 wide, going down in towards the chase. Tom Ward, just like Ryan Hunter-Ray, Rachel, at Indy, he has just got himself the race lead. But is that too much? Too early?
That was definitely showing his hand. That was showing both hands and waving at the pair of them. Wow. Tom Ward with an incredible 3-wide pass there heading to the chase. That took serious bravery from him. And yeah, I think that's his hand shown well and truly. Yep, Mercer and Williams will not be falling for that one a second time, as he's blown that one halfway through this race, but still, got to give him credit. That was definitely a Hunter-Ray-esque pass in the grass.
Ironically, that is exactly what his teammate Richard Avery did yesterday. He didn't put 4 wheels on the grass, though. He decided to fall back in line, and that is what set up that chain reaction. Tom Ward leads 5 laps to go. Mercer is in second. Williams is in third. Your biggest movers and shakers in the race. Well, inside the top 10, Robert Plumley's are going to go 3 wide once again. And in towards turn number 2. The winner this time by, I'm going to put my money on Mercer. Indeed it is. He'll head himself there down the middle, splitting the drivers. Although Ward gets a better run on the exit of the corner, Mercer will fall back into second just for the time being, Rachel.
I think these guys are testing things out right now, Will. They're really trying different moves, really making some dramatic, exciting moments, because they are clear. This is a 3-way fight for the podium, and they're next to each other. Next car in line is back 8 seconds, so they have nothing to really fight against. They can test and try and see what will work here. They really want to find that little advantage they can use. We're going to see maybe Mark Mercer trying something on the mountain, which is very brave. Passing up here is usually at a premium, but yeah, one mistake from these guys. That's 3 cars out of this one, but they are, I'd say, the class of the field right now. Just incredible performance. That's 3 cars under a blanket, under half a second between the 3 of them. And expecting Tom Ward not to be leading when we arrive at the chase this time round, but who knows?
We have had Rob Marshall, Ian Robertson, and Ashley Blake Hood not start this race. Simon Povey officially started the race, then pulled off the track immediately. Clark Williams is officially out as it stands. David Grunhill, Darrell Bennett and Patrick Fairbanks have each made themselves pit stops. We look ourselves on board then with the driver of David Williams. You can see the gap there between P1, P2 and P3. Williams going to use that overspeed as he heads himself now down in towards the chase. And look at that, 220 kilometers an hour almost there. Having to check out now, Rachel. In normal racing conditions, you're doing
Will, gonna stop you there. Look at this. This is an interesting moment here. Mercer up the inside there of Ward through the chase. That's what we're going to see later on in this race, of course. But that's compromised him. Look at Williams coming through on the outside. Although,
Rachel, the important thing is, though, we saw Williams do 220 kilometers an hour almost into the chase. He checked up. That's 14 kilometers an hour faster in the draft compared to what he can run alone. That is Talladega. That is Daytona-esque drafting there.
That's a significant advantage in a car of this speed overall, Will. That's a huge overlap, and it's possibly because it's downhill as well as that draft. It certainly gives the driver behind a major advantage, and I don't think anyone's going to want to be leading. I think we'll see a fight where people are trying to give this lead away coming to the final laps as we head across the mountain. People will want to be in second as we go down Conrad.
Yep, 2 wide once again. It will be Mercer. Will he actually be able to brake properly for the corner? The outside line, so slippery. Tom Ward will have the inside line. Williams thinking about moving down to the inside as they head themselves down in towards the cutting once again. And it is going to be Ward from Mercer from Williams. We did just see that, the back end of a battle going on between Alan Patterson and Paul Thurston, I believe. There you can see Alan Patterson. He has just fallen down the order a little bit. The number 14 car has got himself
a bit of damage
there. Yep, so we just saw that one a moment ago. We cut away from it. We're going to try and get ourselves another look, if we can, of that one. A couple of laps to go in this race. And, well, we caught the back end of it. Let's try to rewind it a little bit more, Rachel. Alan Patterson, series organizer for this. Unfortunately, a little bit of an issue for him towards the end of the lap.
Yeah, he does have some bad luck, does Alan Patterson in this series, and great driver, but just somehow manages to find himself in the worst spots at the right time, and it ends up costing him. So that front wing's very badly bent. Could have been a curve, could have been a car, we aren't quite sure, but he's definitely down on speed, it seems. Up at the front though, somehow Bill Fraser with that destroyed car's holding on from Mark Turner. That gap definitely closing down though now. It's within 0.4 of a second, so Mark Turner's slightly less crippled machine could be coming past Flying Scotsman anytime soon.
Yeah, last time by Bill Fraser, 232.489 for Mark Turner, 232.328. He hasn't got the full impact of the draft right now, but be interesting to see what will happen in the last 3 and a bit laps of this race. One thing we haven't talked about, Rachel, look at this gaggle of cars right now. P number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the racetrack. Well, sorry, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the racetrack. We're just going to turn attention back. Mark Mercer moving himself up to race lead. Ward in second. Williams looking down to the inside. So they head themselves down into Murray's corner. And it will be Williams up into second. And he will head himself to the outside. He will hold the outside line. It'll be okay. Although Mercer slide the job there. Exit of the final corner. 3 laps to go. And Ward looks back down to the inside there.
Oh, twin spinners, Will. Twin spinners back in P6 and 7. That is, I believe, Michael Watson there and
Mark O'Connell.
Mark O'Connell. Adrian Bidwell inheriting 2 with Plumley.
Yep, so we talked about how close it was. Well, it's not as close anymore. Let's get ourselves a look from our aerial coverage and we'll show you what we're going to call a little bit like scattering, shall we say, as they come down in towards the chase. Turn number 20, turn number 21 on the racetrack. And, well, it all bunched up a bit here. You can see a little bit of a synchronized spinning going on down there. Marco Connell.
Williams has got loose and tapped Tom Ward there. That was turn 2, Will, just on this lap right now. Coming up there, sideways, nearly got loose. I think contact there with Tom Ward actually saved his car.
Yep, but Mercer still leads on Williams and Ward. 2.5 laps left to go. They work themselves up the mountain. Now they're at the peak of it. They will get ourselves a look, and now they'll just work themselves underneath the Fujitsu Bridge, and this is where that downhill descent will begin once again. We have a look from the rear then of the driver of Mark Mercer as they now come down the mountain. Look how close they are to the wall, Rachel. Top 3 drivers still separated by just 1.2 seconds.
They are, and it's very close up here. And I thought we weren't doing sponsorship. Fujitsu Bridge?
We're allowed to do it on the bridges, you know.
Okay, we can do it on the bridges, but not the corners, as we say anyway. Mark Mercer making a good break at the front now. That in little wobble between Ward and Williams opened a small gap. We'll see what difference this makes actually on Conrad. Can a bit of a gap help? If he's not quite as close, will it be an advantage still? So we'll find out now. This is a little science experiment for Mark Mercer. Does he still want to be in this position coming into the final one?
I think Tom Ward's in the best position of the lot. We've got the speed chart up again. Now, what will likely happen is Williams will draft up behind Mercer. Then we're going to have ourselves Tom Ward drafting up behind the wheel of David Williams. You can see up to 210 kilometers an hour. Williams at 216, 217 as he pulls down to the inside. Tom Ward almost touching 220, not quite close enough, but you can see he comes into the braking zone and closes that gap. Williams back to the front, Mercer in second, Ward right on the rear of the Club 100 car. 3 different teams, 3 different drivers, Mano and Mano and Mano, Rachel. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Ward was that close to Mercer. I think he could have changed his final drive ratio gear there without getting out the cockpit. That was pretty close. Literally on his rear bodywork there, that car. Mercer looks up the inside there. Williams, what can he do here? Can he find anything? Possibly 2 laps now to go as we've just exited Hell Corner. So this is going to be the deciding factor. They are 11 seconds clear, Will, of 4th place, which is just amazing. These guys are going to be the podium. Unless something goes wrong, it will be these 3, and just what order, we have no idea.
Mercer to the outside, down in towards Quarry Corner they come. Turn number 2, 22 machine. Williams on the inside, Mercer drifting it once again. Exit of the corner, they're 3 wide as they head themselves down in towards the cutting, but Mercer's got the inside line. That's the important one. The gloves, well, we don't expect them to fully come off until they head themselves through the S's in a lap and a half time. Now it's all about out-psyching your opponents, Rachel, as we've got 2 wide there between Williams and the Friction Racing car of Tom Ward. We know they don't like each other, but for the time being, they're going to play as close as they can get. It's literally playing a game of chicken at 200 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, this is no Ronda Rousey TKO. This is going to take a while for them to knock the socks off each other, and they will do it because, like we said, no love lost. So we're looking for an exciting finish to this one, and well, there's some old hands here, there's some newer hands, there's Friction, there's Coanda, there's Club 100. 3 of the biggest teams in this series, and 2 of the biggest teams in sim racing, I'd say. This is certainly going to be a finish to remember here at the mountain, and we never see boring racing here at Bathurst, do we? No,
we don't. Don't really worry about what happens in the next 30 seconds, by the way. It's going to mean absolutely nothing. In fact, we're going to show you something else, because this is likely to be more important than this battle for the race lead. The battle for the race lead means nothing until they see the white flag. Here's Robert Plumley, Adrian Bidwell, Rich Jones, Michael Watson and Micah Cannon. 5 drivers separated by 3 seconds and less as they head themselves down through the dipper. Ward leads from Mercer, then from Williams. Don't worry about that one. It doesn't even matter what happens, as long as they don't crash. Although Ward are being pinched there by Mercer as they head themselves. They will see the white flag this time by. They're separated by 0.3 of a second. Mercer with the inside line down into Murray's corner. Then Williams will look down to the inside of Tom Ward. I think Ward secretly wants to be in 3rd place, although Williams, slide job, final corner, white flag, Rachel. 1 more lap to go.
1 more lap, and well, that was a bit like Daytona actually there, Will, because Mercer was pulling each of the two cars separately to stop from getting as much of a draft on him, which is very intelligent use of the air. You can hold a lead with the draft here, especially if it's two people who equally want to get past you. But looking at that pack we've got in the midfield, that's so exciting. It's of course looking like it's on the grass there for Adrian Bidwell. He was on the grass at the final corner, goes past Plumley, Jones, Watson and Cannon. Ooh, he lost a few spots there, but I'm sure he'll get those back. He'll be frustrated with himself for running wide. Exciting racing in the mid-pack here, but keeping our eyes on the front as bad exit there for Jones. Up at the front, well, we've got a pass there with Turner getting past Bill Frazier finally. It took him long enough. Tom Ward, though, up at the front of this one is P2. Possibly not the best place, but at the front, wow.
They're too far back.
He's checked out.
Too far back. They are too far back, and that's because this is what happens when you get bad blood. They are literally gonna be catching them as they break for the chase as it stands. We saw a gap like this yesterday. Now, if you're Tom Ward, you need to hit this middle section perfectly. He didn't do it yesterday. David Williams needs to be patient himself. You cannot pass down into Skyline. There's a look out front. There's a look behind. You can see Williams is stalking. If you're Williams, you just wait until you get through turn number 21 on this racetrack, and then set yourself up towards the final corner, because I think this is going to be a photo finish. There you can see Mercer leads by half a second. It's come back together as they now head themselves down the hill for the final time here. Mercer by half a second from Tom Ward. David Williams is in third. We will get ourselves a photo finish unless they crash. The Club 100 car is arguably a sitting duck right now, because here comes Tom Ward. But pay attention to David Williams. He's going to have himself the draft. Here we go. One wide, two wide between Williams and Ward. They're both catching Mercer. Ward down to the inside of Mercer into the chase for the final time. Williams will stay where he is for the time being. Now it's going to be a case of what will happen as they come out the chase down towards Murray's corner for the final time. Tom Ward inside line. Will he get the job done? The answer is going to be set that photo finish camera up, because here comes Ward. Although Mercer exit off the grass, it'll be Mercer who wins it here today. Mercer is an absolute champion on the outside line.
A fight to see at the end of this one, of course. Mark Turner and Bill Frazier coming across the line, and Bill Frazier coming back at Mark Turner. Can he get him in the line? He won't do it. No, it's Mark Turner. Behind them, we've still got more to go as we have a crash. That is Adrian Bidwell and Robert Plumley, I believe. As past them comes Michael Watson, who will take P number 6. But we've had a crash. Let's get a replay it well, because we've got an incident here in the final corner into the chase. Up the inside of Robert Plumley goes Adrian Bidwell. Yes, it is Adrian. No, it's not. It's Mike Cannon. I was wrong. But yep, and just comes across and gets tagged by Plumley. Round they go, and both of them will not finish.
Yeah, that's pretty similar to what we saw on Sunday Night Skippies yesterday. Well, we'll get ourselves a look at your full results at the moment, and Tim Adcock actually also getting spun out on the final corner of the final lap as well. He has to reverse that number 21 car pretty much round the chase. But it's Mark Mercer's day here on Monday Night Skippies, and let's get yourselves a look at your final race results. .84 1,000ths of a second is what separates Mark Mercer from Tom Ward. David Williams in third, with Mark Turner in fourth, Bill Fraser in fifth, Bidwell, Maltby, Thurston, Watson and Plumley rounding out your top 10. We head on back to Madcock in 11th, Mike Cannon in 12th, Anna Patterson in 13th, Chris Robinson in 14th, Mark O'Connell in 15th, Patrick Fairbanks, Darryl Bennett, Rich Jones, Ellis Stevens and David Grunhill rounding out your top 20. Grunhill, one of your retirees, 5 laps down here. Clark Williams in 21st, then 4 non-starters. Simon Povey doesn't complete a lap. Rob Marshall, Ashley Blakehood and Ian Robson doesn't start today's race. Well, Rachel, as far as the end of this one went, it was close, but realistically, it was always going to be Mercer. The second he had himself there on the outside line, it seemed to be that he was pretty much then unstoppable.
Yeah, that was a pretty incredible finish to that one, and just what a race. We knew it was going to boil over towards the end, but not in that way. And well, we had fights throughout the whole field there. It was incredible.
Well, we'll get ourselves then a final look from the rear of Mark Mercer as they head themselves. This is on the exit of this is the exit of Forest Open, now heading themselves down Conrod's. And you can have a look there from Mark Mercer. We'll get that 360 cam working for you and show you what happened in real time as these drivers dance towards start finish line. We said that 8 tenths of a second was too far back. Half a second, it looked as though it's potentially doable. Williams was there in the mix for the time being, but Ward, he thinks about it. He moves himself to the outside into the chase. That's not going to be good enough though. They get themselves side by side, but then Mercer able to brake just a little bit later. A little bit of a slide job by him there, but gets himself the traction he needs in towards the final corner they come. And even though he's on the outside line, he has himself the runoff area. And let's just show you how wide Mark Mercer is going to push as they come down into Murray's corner. You see he turns in a little bit sharply, but Mercer, full wheels on the grass, is going to win here tonight on Monday Night Skippies. And well, what an incredible couple of days we've had here up the mountain. As this has been, ladies and gentlemen, the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Championship UK and Ireland Monday Night Skippies in support of Shelter. Don't forget, if you missed anything from this weekend's action, catch it on our YouTube page. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook. We don't really post on Twitter, but if you really want to follow us, feel free to do so. For more information about RaceSpot TV, head over to RaceSpot.tv. This has been a RaceSpot TV presentation of Monday Night Skippies in support of Shelter from Bathurst, Mount Panorama, Australia. For myself, Will Vincent, from Rachel Whiteford, we'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.